everyone! Oh my god, welcome back. It has been a minute since I posted, and that's okay. Today I'm coming with a video that I've been trying to make or been attempting to make for a super long time, but basically I'm giving the best tips on how to optimize your time in college to travel the world. So if you guys have been with me for a while, you know that I love traveling. I am right now a senior at Georgia Tech. I graduate in December, and I started really big traveling after junior year in high school. And since then, I've made it kind of a mission to go somewhere internationally every single year. So you're probably wondering, or a lot of people ask me, how can you afford to do this? Because I don't come from a rich background or anything. I am a college student and I am financially dependent on most of my things. So I've had to come up with tips, tricks, and little plans to get me around the world on a budget. So keep watching and you'll get some of my tips. I'm going to be splitting this video up into 3 different sections. Also ignore the noise outside. My dad is oh my god, it's a bug. My dad is pressure washing our patio thingy, but yeah, I'm going to be splitting this video up into 3 parts. Planning your trip in terms of timing, planning in terms of financials, and then lastly, dealing with your finances when you are there taking your trip. Alright, let's get started. I'm with the gang, I'm with the fleet. I am addicted to TikTok. All right, so the first category is how can you, I guess, take advantage of your time in college? What's the best way to plan? Here are my big tips. First one is do a study abroad program. I know that for most colleges, studying abroad, it's cheaper to do your classes there, but also it's a lot easier and can be cheaper to travel when you're in a different kind of area of the world. So for example, when I studied in Barcelona, I was there for about 3 months and I got to go to 5 different countries. I went to 5 different countries for about 500 euros, which is like 550 something dollars. And this is pretty good if you ask me, because if you tried to go to 5 countries from here, you'd be spending thousands of dollars. Disclaimer, my examples are specific for Europe. I haven't traveled between countries in other continents before, so I'm not necessarily sure if it is cheaper to travel in those areas the way it is in Europe. Tip number 2, you want to travel during your school breaks and get your tickets in advance. And not advance a couple of weeks, you need to get those tickets months in advance. I'm super big on planning and pre-planning. It's also good to get it far out because ticket prices will most likely always be cheaper. So for me at Georgia Tech, we have fall break, spring break, Christmas/winter break, and then your summer break as well, the time right before you go back to school. You want to sign up for airline watch websites so that they can watch the prices for you on the destinations that you're looking at or you're considering for your travel breaks. That way, you always have some sort of information coming into you about where you can go for any of your school breaks that you have. And my last tip, number 3, kind of goes with what I just mentioned before, but be flexible in where you want to go. If you have your mind set on one place and one time, then it's not as likely that you're going to get the best the best price deal, as well as timing. So make sure you're flexible, you're open to different ideas, different locations. I would say keep a list of those locations, put those into the airline watcher websites, as well as be flexible with your dates. For example, if you go to googleflights.com, you're able to put in kind of a range of dates, and you can look at the world map and it shows you the prices of tickets from whatever destination you're from to where you're going, and that way you're able to pick kind of the cheapest price that you see for a variety of locations. My camera's dying, so we're gonna do this quick. The second category that we're gonna talk about is how to plan financially. Number 1, how did I kind of financially afford a lot of my trips? Well, most of them were taken when I studied abroad. So I would say study abroad scholarships are very helpful, and I'm sure that your school has kind of their own programs. Okay, so apparently flights are cheaper if you book them on Tuesdays Tuesday or Wednesday. Now I have experienced this a little bit, but it's not like every single time it's gonna be cheaper for everything I'm looking for. But you should try searching for flights on those days, as well as remember to clear your browser history as well as your cache, however you pronounce that. I've heard or seen some research on airlines, if they see that you've been looking for certain places, those prices will be hiked up a little bit more. Tip number 3, budget, budget, budget. A lot of college students, they don't budget. I don't know why. I do know why. We're lazy and we don't have a huge income where we think we don't need to budget, but in reality, by budgeting, you are going to be able to save more money than just doing nothing. So for me, when I budget for my travels, I put money in my savings, and I also have a specific savings just all for traveling. So any of my paychecks, a certain percentage goes straight to that savings bucket, and so when I am looking to go on a trip, I've already got money put to the side. Next thing is, plan to go to a place where your currency or your money is appreciated, not depreciated. So when I went to Spain, obviously I was studying abroad, so that wasn't my main concern, but euros they're worth more than the dollar, just by a little bit. But certain places like Morocco, where the dollar is worth like 10 times of their currency, so that's really helpful, and it helps to stretch out your money when you are traveling. Okay, my last big tip, I really encourage everyone to do this: get a travel credit card. Now, no, you're not gonna be in debt. I'm not in debt because of traveling. But the best thing to do is, or why I recommend this, is because travel credit cards, you get points and mileages that can go to hotel accommodations as well as your flights, and even like resort stays through like Delta, for example. As college students, you've probably never had a credit card before, but when we become real adults and graduate, we will have to establish credit. So killing two birds with one stone, you can establish credit by getting this card as well as save on your traveling plans and hotel accommodations. For me, I have the Amex Delta travel card, and the best way that I use this to get my points but not go into debt is I use it for basic everyday purchases that I already have money for. So for example, if I'm filling up my gas every week, I put on my credit card and I immediately pay that off because I would be paying it regardless. But I use my travel card to get those points and get those benefits. Honestly, the more you use it, the better it adds up, and you're going to be able to take advantage of those and go anywhere you want. Also, usually if it's your first credit card and you sign up, they say if you spend a certain amount within 3 months, then they'll give you like a bonus extra miles. So I encourage you to look into different travel credit card kind of programs and see what fits best for you. My last category is how to afford being at your trip. So when it comes to staying in places, I recommend hostels, Airbnbs, as well as some countries, they have their own kind of like, short-term renting websites. So like, I think one is like Apartment or like bookings.com, where you're able to look into kind of like getting an apartment rather than getting a hotel room, and it's always for cheap. Hostels are really cool because you get to meet a lot of people from around the world, super cheap. I mean, like I can get a room for like $15 a night. You want to make sure you do your research on hostels. Some can be kind of sketchy, but others are really nice. They're better quality, but those rooms usually sell out quickly, which is why, again, you want to make sure you're planning all this ahead of time so you can get the best accommodations for the best price. I recommend going with a group of people to places to make the living prices go down a bit more. So if you're not comfortable kind of traveling by yourself or traveling in a smaller group, the more people you have, the cheaper it's going to be to stay in places. So for example, I went to Portugal, and there was 5 of us, and we got a really nice apartment that fit all of us, nice beds, that had rooms, and I paid $38. Can you believe that? My biggest tip that I even use here in the US, I use everywhere: bring your student ID. No matter where you're going, if you have your student ID, a lot of places like activities, museums, they always have student discounts, but you have to have your ID with you. So make sure you take that with you on any of your trips that you're going on. Oh, and you can even use these for like transportation. So getting a Metro card, or let's say you're somewhere for a long period of time. When I was in Spain, I was there for 3 months, and there's a card with like unlimited uses, and with your student ID it was way cheaper. A lot of people don't know this, or they don't even ask, so make sure you take it, and you can ask basically wherever you are to see if it's applicable. Big tip, and I like this because it gets you more immersed into the culture and meeting more people. But use public transportation. Over in other countries, Ubers or taxis, whatever their car ride services are, they're always going to be way more expensive, mostly because they're going to tax foreigners, taxing anyone that's just visiting, because they know they can. So it's best to use public transportation to, one, get more integrated within the culture, as well as to save your money. It might take a little longer to get there, taking the metro or taking a bus, but for sure you're gonna have a lot of good memories. I've had so many, and I saved hundreds, literally hundreds of dollars when I've been out in different countries and I need to travel places. Okay, and my last tip for being there financially is to plan out your activities ahead of time of your trip. All of your days don't need to be like planned out hour by hour, but know where you want to go. Make sure the museum that you're interested in is going to be open, know how much it costs so that you can budget your travel budget, and so you can make sure that you have enough when you're there. For example, we went to, where did I go? I guess I don't have an example because I don't do that. I always look up my activities and I always know like where I'm gonna go, how much it costs, so I roughly have an idea of how much money I need to bring, as well as bringing money if you wanna, you know, if you're a shopper, I like to shop, or if you wanna get kind of, what's it called? Things to bring back, or gifts to bring, souvenirs to bring back for your friends or family. So yeah, that's a big tip that I always do. Okay, so those are all of my little tips and tricks on how I've been traveling through college, traveling the world on a budget and not spending, you know, hella money when I go over there, but still having a really good time, authentic experience, staying in nice places. Yeah, and well, I hope you can take this and apply it to yourself. I hope you guys get to travel once, you know, Corona calms down and this pandemic goes away. God willing. I can't wait to get out on a plane again and to go explore a different country. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've watched all the way through here, I appreciate you. You're my #1 fan. Make sure you subscribe, like this, and send this video to anyone who you think might need it or might benefit from these tips. Thanks.